Welcome to the Ask Jordan podcast, answering your questions about selling on Amazon. Now, in his skivvies, because his wife wears the pants, from Long Island, New York, here's your host, Jordan Malik.
Hello, Amazon sellers. This is Jordan Malik. I'm your host of the Ask Jordan podcast. Welcome to our 38th episode. You know, we've had over 35,000 downloads to date in it's over the course of maybe 4 or 5 months. So thank you so much for making me a part of your day. I've been receiving your emails and your compliments. It's an honor to be part of your world. And, there's so many things that are happening in the world today that make things feel unsafe. So I hope you and your loved ones are safe out there. This is the podcast, if you're listening for the first time, where we only answer your questions about selling on Amazon. Every episode, we answer a different question from you, the listener, about selling on Amazon. If you've missed an episode, just go to askjordan.net, askjordan.net, where we listed all of our previous episodes. Also, on that page, you can find out how to hear your own voice on this podcast. And at the same time, you'll be eligible to win all 7 of my best-selling ebooks. We're going to give you some more information on that after today's question. Today's question is from Frank DeMaria in Florida. Go ahead, Frank.
Hi, Jordan. This is Frank DeMaria from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I hope all is well. Love the podcast and always love chatting with you. My question today is based on a lot of our previous conversations. I know you do a lot of sourcing, liquidation, merchandising, clearance items, and really you don't go deep. You go wide. You go onesies and twosies. So I was just curious as to how do you end up getting the volume needed to really have a healthy full-time salary that you do. That seems to be something that I am constantly curious as to how that works. So the question is then how do you end up getting the volume by getting the onesies and the twosies to get a healthy salary? Thank you, Jordan, as always. You are awesome. Have a great day.
Okay, Frank, I forgot to mention, is one of my longtime subscribers, and it's great to hear from you, Frank. So, Frank, listen, yes, you are right. Depending on the time of the year, my inventory, for the most part, my inventory is onesie twosies, not necessarily a quantity one, although many of it is the quantity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're wondering how I'm getting the volume to do as well as I say I do. Now, I've shown on my blog my screenshot of sales for 2013. And I did $146,000 in sales with a profit margin, net pre-tax profit margin of about 55. Excuse me, that's not right. About 70,000 in sale and net pre-tax profit. And I did it in a very part-time fashion. My wife and I work on our Amazon business. Very roughly average 10 to 15 hours a week. Now, of course, there's some weeks we don't do any work on the Amazon business. Some weeks around the holidays, particularly Christmas, we may be working a 40 or 50 hour week apiece. But on average, you're looking at about 10, 15 hours apiece. And how do I do it? Okay, so I don't do a lot of wholesale at all. I'm not buying from wholesalers at this time. I've dabbled in it. I didn't like it. One thing I don't like about wholesale is the capital you got to put up front and the paranoia I have of sometimes oversaturating a marketplace. There's a lot of my peers that have done wholesale and they've eclipsed me in sales. I don't know all their secrets. I don't know how well they're truly doing, but my guess is they're doing probably pretty good. So there's nothing wrong with wholesale. It's just not an animal I want to touch. Really, the second reason is, the first reason, not the major one. The first reason being the capital layout is not my major reason. My major reason is space, really. I live on Long Island, New York. Can't afford to rent a garage or a big warehouse to store this stuff or have it processed. Everything, all residences and everything in Long Island is measured in per square foot. I'm not at the stage where I'm ready to have, I don't even have a large garage to put stuff in. I don't have any space to put stuff in. And I'm not making excuses saying, oh, there's a lot of clutter in my home. No, we really do not have space in this house to take a sizable shipment that would yield enough profit I can't I don't have the space to accept 1,000 pairs of sneakers or whatever. I just don't have it. So I like to do a lot of my inventory in small quantities, and the bulk of the inventory that I do sell on Amazon is items from retail arbitrage, meaning finding either liquidation stores or retail stores locally or from a couple states away, and buying items in quantities of anything from like 1 to like 25 for an item. So why do I do the revenue that I'm talking about? And like I said, I did 146,000 in 2013. I think we'll top that a little bit. We had a couple months where we didn't do a lot of activity at all, meaning we didn't do a lot of sourcing. We had my wife and I had to deal with some issues around us that had nothing to do with work that kind of kept us away from the Amazon business. So I plan to top that. I think 2014 I might do 155, 160. And my net pre-tax profit margin is probably going to be around 80,000. So how do I do that? Well, I focus a lot on getting a lot of products as cheaply as I can, and with the expectation that they may take 6 months to a year to sell. Now, I started out like that 4 years ago when I was sourcing just books. I didn't know you could sell anything other than books and CDs and DVDs on Amazon. I was sourcing just books, but I was going mayhem. The first 3 to 6 months, I was hitting every library, not book sales, just going to every library in Long Island. There's probably about 80 libraries in Long Island. I was going to every one, and every library, or most libraries, have a used sale book rack inside the library, and I was picking up books for 10 cents, 15 cents, 25 cents, and sending them in regardless of sales rank. And some would sell right away for $80. Some would sell in 6 months for $8. Some would sell in between anywhere from 8 to 15 to 20. At one point, I did a video of it because at one point I was doing $2,000 a week in profit. Doing books alone. I don't even think I'm doing that now. So what I'll do is I will, or Frank, let me just relay this to you in your day to day. You should be consistently setting aside time, to source and send. You should be every day, whatever downtime you have. If you work a regular job, I forget if you do or not, but if you're working a regular job, any time that you normally spend in front of the TV or shopping or playing golf, you should be constantly sourcing and then bringing the stuff home and prepping it and sending. The more you front load as much as you can, as much merchandise as you can, the easier it will be, the smoother your revenue stream will be, because the days that you're not sourcing and the days that you're not sending products in, you will have the inventory that you've amassed and sent in from the previous days, weeks, or months to help even that out. When I say always sourcing, I mean when you're in stores, you should be making a beeline for their sales rack or clearance rack, whether it's a grocery store, a big box retail store. I'll give you a small example. My wife 2 months ago went into a major national drug chain store. I'm not going to mention the name for a couple of reasons. One is, the main reason is because they kind of shut us down from doing this. They're not allowing us to do this anymore. So she went into a major drugstore chain, and she was looking at the items on the shelf. There's a clearance section on the shelf, and she was scanning the stuff, and a store clerk walked up to her and said, "Do you want to take everything for $300? And when I say everything, I mean everything. We have an SUV loaded with bags of stuff that was on the clearance rack. You hear that ice cream machine, by the way? There's an ice cream truck. There's an ice cream truck if you hear it jingling in the background. So she bought everything in the store for $300. We must have had in individual items, something like 2,000 items. We ended up donating about 3/4 of it because we simply couldn't sell it on Amazon, and the rest we sold. And our net profit from that $300 is probably going to be about $2,500 to $3,500. That's just from one store. We went to several stores afterwards and cleaned up there as well. My wife was in a gift store once, a gift store at a hospital. And she called me. She said they have New York Jets Christmas tree lights on sale here. It was like July of last year or something. And the other had a sports paraphernalia, like those little shades that you have in the car that you pull down. It says New York Yankees or whatever on it. You know, the little side window car shades, etc. So she was just talking to me on the phone, telling me about the items. I said, yeah, pick up 5 of these and 10 of these, etc. And they weren't hot sellers. The sales rank wasn't that good. But I knew that we were coming out. It was past baseball season or something. I don't know if it was, maybe it was the winter time or something. And I said, pick them up and we'll sell them next year. And the store clerk, the store owner, was there and asked her. See, normally you got to ask these, you got to go into a store owner and ask, or the manager, say, where's your liquidation stuff? Can I, even if you're just buying onesie twosies, you can do that. Sometimes you can negotiate a deal with a store manager to say, I'll take these all off your hands. Even if it's a major chain store like a Home Depot or a Hallmark. Sometimes they'll strike a special deal with you and say, if you take all of our, if you take all of our spools of weed trimmer off of our hands, we'll give it to you 50 cents on the dollar or whatever. So the store owner overheard her and said, do you want to buy more of these? I've got boxes of these in my warehouse. And I through my wife, I negotiated a price right there on the spot for $1 a piece, and he agreed because he wasn't selling them as a gift store in a hospital. In any case, so we ended up buying stuff that's not really fast sellers. It took us, a good 6 months to move it in any significant chunk. But, we paid $1 and we're selling it for $11, $12, $13. Okay. Liquidation stores. I don't know if there's liquidation stores near you, Frank. Maybe you and I have talked, but there's what's called grocery surplus stores or grocery salvage stores or liquidation stores. If you want to get started, if you, the listener, want to get started trying to find one, you can go to my free list. It's bit.ly SSList13, bit.ly/S as in snake, S as in snake, the word list and the number 13, bit.ly/SSList13. There's a list of links and resources to find grocery salvage stores near you and liquidation stores. And that's where I picked up anything from cake mixes to candy to, let's see, what else? For sale signs for the car that I've picked up for 50 cents to $1 to $2 that sell for $8, $10, $12, $20 a piece. So I'm always front loading. In my mind, I'm always front loading, Frank. Sourcing and sending stuff in so I can continue this stream of income. Because there might be days where I don't source, like for 2 months we didn't source product at all, and our net sales, our gross sales for those 2 months was probably $5,000 a month. Our net profit was maybe $1,500 to $2,000, but that was an extra $4,000 coming in for no work during those 2 months. And also, when I say always be sourcing, people should not be afraid of getting their hands dirty and going to yard sales or estate sales. And I'm going to give you an example. And Frank, I'm not saying you, I'm just saying people in general. Sourcing from yard sales and garage sales. One day recently, about 2 months ago, a gal was having a big yard sale. She had a box full of CDs, so 2 or 3 boxes full of CDs. And a lot of that was very obscure stuff, not really hot selling obscure, just like nobody's going to buy this, period. And she said, would you take, I was fishing through them and I didn't have the time to go through every one. And she looked at me and she said, will you take the whole box? I'll sell the whole box to you. Or excuse me, the boxes, there's about 3 boxes. And I was like, okay, how much? Thinking she's going to say like $200. She said $40. So $40. And this doesn't happen to me. This happens to a lot of Amazon sellers. Sometimes you just have to ask. $40 I brought like 250 CDs home. I think I had to throw out like maybe, 75 of them. The rest, which, maybe it was about 150 or so, 150, 200 of them, I sent all into Amazon. Now, some are going to sell right away for $8. Some sell right away for $6.99. Some sell right away for $14. Some will sell 6 months from now for $14.99. Some will sell a year from now for $8. Some will sell 3 months from now for $40. Some of them, a good 30 of them, were Christmas CDs that I kind of set aside. I said, I'm not going to send these in right now. I'm going to send them in closer to, obviously, like, October, November, closer to Christmas. Like the Tony Bennett and, all the typical folk, folk and acoustic Christmas CDs. I forget the names of the artists, but, well-known artists. So that's all inventory that cost me nearly nothing. It just really, only the cost was really the labor and getting my hands dirty of wiping down, making sure every CD was clean. It was 2 hours of labor. Let's just say 3 hours of labor. I spent $40, but that 150, 175 CDs is going to bring me, I don't know, $800 to $1,000 profit. Let's just chalk it up. Let's make it worse. Let's say 200 CDs at $4 profit average per CD. So that's going to bring me $800 profit for roughly 2 hours, 3 hours worth of work and a little bit of elbow grease. And I'm not counting on all that money coming back to me. See, I think that's one thing that sellers fall in the trap of, is that there's many sellers that get into this, not you, Frank, that get into this and think that this is going to be a quick way for them to make really good, fast money. And their anxiety and their rush takes over. And they'll quickly find a wholesaler in China and they'll buy 3,000 worth of X, thinking that they can sell it in 2 months. And if they sell it in 2 months at, a $15 profit a piece, they'll make, $600 profit or whatever. And it just doesn't work like that. I like to stay diversified. The liquidation stores, I'll buy, like I said, anything from the cake mixes to candy to things like weird things like cutting cutlery knives from a company called Tramontina, Tramontina is the brand. I never heard of them. For some reason, some of the models of cutting knives are semi-popular. It's like a $10 cutting knife on Amazon, but I buy them for $1. So my ROI on that is, $4.70 to $5 net pre-tax profit each knife. So if I buy 25 knives and I spent $25, well, my net profit is $125 for a $25 spend. Another example I'll give you is I went into a liquidation store and found window stickers for Wounded Warrior. The Wounded Warrior nonprofit? It's a company that I just happen to. Wounded Warrior is a nonprofit that provides assistance and financials to disabled vets that come home from the war. And I've personally contributed to them in the past, but they were selling, without any of the proceeds going to the Warriors, they were selling the stickers, which is fine. It's a legal thing to do. It's a legal thing to do. They had these wholesale, they had these stickers, rather, they bought in bulk from somewhere. They're selling them for 20 cents a piece. And it's a car sticker. It's a black car sticker that goes on the inside of your window to show that you support the Wounded Warriors. Well, I sold them I started at $7.99 a piece, and now I'm selling them for $9.99 a piece. I'm almost out. So if I spent actually 25 cents. I think they're 20 cents because they're 5 for $1. And I bought them all in the store. I think there might have been 70 of the stickers left in the store. I bought 70 of them, so my net profit is going to be roughly $7 a piece. Maybe. Well, no, let's knock that down a little bit. Let's say for $6 a piece on average. At times 70 is $420. Those happen to be selling at a good clip. I'll sell out of those in another week or 2 weeks from now. But I fully expected those stickers to take over the course of a year to sell. And I would have been perfectly fine with that. So the answer, Frank, is source as much as you can. Send in to Amazon FBA warehouses as much as you can in your downtime to get a steady revenue stream coming in. Don't make yourself broke doing it. Allot yourself $200 or $300 a week. If you can't do that, do $100 a week in inventory. Look for the inventory that you can find. It costs you 99 cents a piece, 20 cents a piece, 50 cents a piece, $2 a piece. That sells for 10, 12, 15 and up. And always learn. Watch the blog, my onlineselling.com blog. Always keep your eyes peeled. I use Profit Bandit on my phone. It costs $9.99 a month. It works for the iPhone or the Android phone. I get no money from referring you to them. Do a Google search, Profit, Bandit. Make sure you have the scouting app on your phone. It costs $9.99 a month. By using it when you're out shopping and you're finding clearance items, or if at yard sales and you want to buy some CDs or DVDs or whatever toys that are still in the box, you scan the barcode. It shows you the seller data and what the item is selling for on Amazon. Good luck, Frank. Keep me posted. Frank gets all 7 of my ebooks about selling on Amazon and eBay. Frank, just go to AskJordan.net, click on the small envelope icon in the upper right-hand corner. Send me an email so I know where to send your ebooks to. If you, the listener, want to be like Frank, hear your voice on my podcast, and get 7 of my best-selling ebooks for free, you can if your question about selling on Amazon is approved for this podcast. So just call with your question, 516-619 online. That's 516-619-6654. Make sure you see the previous questions already submitted at AskJordan.net, because your question might already be answered. Or just go to AskJordan.net, scroll down about halfway down the page. You'll see the instructions for submitting the question again there. Hey, thanks again for joining me at the Ask Jordan podcast. I'll see you again in our next episode.